So, Apple. Not quite the most important company in the world when it comes to video game endorsements, but regardless, they named Myst as 2021's Game of the Year. Now, some of you may be asking, what the is Myst? I get it, the Myst series hasn't been in the spotlight for several years, but what if I told you that Myst was the best-selling video game throughout the 1990s? Whoa, slow down, man. Are you telling me it outperformed the likes of The Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time, Super Mario 64, and Final Fantasy VII? Well, yeah, it did back then. Myst was not only incredibly popular and influential, but its long-lasting legacy has left a permanent mark on the gaming industry by being arguably the first mainstream puzzle adventure game. In August 2021, developer Cyan released a remake of their original Myst utilizing Unreal Engine 4, breathing in new life into this nearly 30-year-old game. In this video, I will be reviewing the most recent release of Myst. Yeah, the one that Apple rewarded Game of the Year, and see if Myst is still as incredible as it was when it debuted in 1993. Before we get started, let me know if you are a fan of Myst and have played it before, including its re-releases and various remakes over the years. I'd love to hear what you have to say about it in the comments, and remember to like this video and subscribe to the channel. The original Myst is a game that I hold near and dear to my heart, being that it was one of my very first games that I ever played when I was around 5 years old back on the Macintosh in the mid-90s. It was a sensation back then, as the buzz around the game just continued to grow more and more with each passing year as the new millennium approached. Families all over the country were riveted by its state-of-the-art graphics at that time, its mind-bending puzzle gameplay that fascinated and stumped people for those without a strategy guide, and hooked players with its integration of a simple yet mysterious storyline. Mysterious is quite an appropriate way to describe the game, as the name Myst, well, you know where I'm going with this. Who is the main character? Why I'm in the middle of this dark fissure with a man falling through? What is this book? Fun fact, the original Myst has been one of the most re-released games of all time, as it has released on... Okay, here we go. The 3DO, Amiga OS. What the heck is that? CD-ROM, the Atari Jaguar CD, Mac OS, Nintendo DS, Nintendo 3DS, PlayStation, PSP, Sega Saturn, Windows Mobile, and Android. Oh my god! Over the years, Cyan, the wonderful studio behind Myst and several of the Myst games, including the incredible Abduction that came out a few years ago, has updated Myst several times for the PC. In 2020, Cyan released a VR remake of Myst for Oculus Quest platforms utilizing Unreal Engine 4. Last year in 2021, the game was released on PC and Xbox platforms, ushering in a new era of Myst, sporting the best graphics this franchise has seen to date. This remake looks absolutely fantastic, plain and simple. Everything looks exactly the way I remember it back in my little brain in the 90s. Well, except much prettier now. Other than the graphical overhaul, another enticing reason to pick up this remake is for its puzzle randomization mode. Having the puzzles randomized is a fun way to play the same game while also needing to think a bit more about how to solve each of the game's puzzles, as the solutions are not the same as playing it without this feature. I recommend doing your second playthrough with this feature enabled. All the gameplay you are seeing has been captured on my PC using the second highest settings on my rig to give you all a good look at this game and its performance. The PC version has controller support if you so choose, and it works just fine, although I stuck with the traditional mouse and keyboard. So let's fill you in on what the story is about. In Myst, you the player are the star of the show, as you appear to be in a massive fissure with nothing to see but pure blackness and stars. The fissure widens above you, and a man falls through it with a book titled Myst. conveniently falling next to you. Intrigued by this book, you open it and inside displays a video of an island with hauntingly mysterious music. You then place your hand on the book and thus begins your Myst journey. Welcome to the island of Myst, an island in total isolation with no human life seeming to exist on it. It's now up to you to make sense of the mysteries of the island and figure out where you are and how to escape it. Along the way, you'll learn about the inhabitants who once lived on the island of Myst and also journeyed to its linked realms. And the fun of experiencing that story content can be viewed by interacting with red and blue pages you can pick up throughout the worlds. In the library, you can also read books on each of the Myst worlds that you will eventually travel to, further fleshing out the story. And that's about as much as I will say, because it's better left for you prospective players to discover. In this game, unlike the original, which has the player point and click their way through frames to move, players instead take full control of the character as they walk around the player environment, giving the player more freedom to move during navigation. This increased mobility allows players to pay closer attention to the intricacies of the environment, making it easier for players to view key objects for puzzles that were otherwise obscure or hard to see in the original. All the iconic Myst tunes are beautifully presented here in this new Myst game, and capture the haunting beauty of many of the game's locations. In addition, the game also contains the iconic FMV scenes of the characters that were present in the original. These FMV scenes still look great today, and work nicely against their updated backgrounds. Players also have the option to toggle between the new character animations that replace the FMVs, and although it's nice to have the two, the game simply just looks better with the older FMVs. The FMVs do a better job at grounding each of the characters, as their expressions are more easily felt by using actors. Fun fact, the characters in the original game were acted by Rand and Robin Miller, the creators of Myst. Players also have the option of going through the game with randomized puzzles, an excellent option for those who already played the game before. The game starts off with you on Myst Island, and there is no one here to hold your hand as you explore the island and discover its secrets. This old school game design is a refreshing throwback to gaming's past, as it leaves it up to the player as to how to progress through the game. My only hint I will drop is to find this letter on the rock near the docks. This should give you enough information to piece together what to do next. With more knowledge and exploration, the player will soon find that there are numerous other books that link to other worlds. Although these worlds aren't particularly massive, they fit a lot of puzzle-solving fun into these limited play spaces. Because this remake is based off a game from 1993, don't expect the largest play spaces to be present in Myst. Each of these realms are beautiful and majestically recapture the feeling of visiting these locations for the first time for seasoned players of the game. Instead of pointing and clicking on still pictures like the original Myst, each environment now feels fully realized, with the rolling waves as they crash against the shore, the sun flickering through the scattered clouds, and the dancing of butterflies through the forest. In this realm, Channelwood, the fog in Myst, see what I did there, expertly masks the play space in a dense coat of mystery, as players can faintly make a sense of a windmill in the background, and upon looking straight up into the sky, a dense canopy of tree branches obscures what looks like centuries-old passageways of a civilization that once took place atop the land's treetops. This remake does an incredible job at allowing players to see the island of Myst and its other realms in a totally new way, thanks to its freeform camera. Because the game now plays like a first-person exploration game, this gives players an easier time when looking out for objects such as levers, buttons, and passageways when tackling the game's puzzles. Because Myst is a puzzle game, giving the player full control of how he or she explores the world is essential when looking at things from other angles, making this remake feel a bit easier compared to the original. Lighting has been massively improved in the remake, making hard-to-see objects a lot clearer in this version. Even so, don't come into Myst expecting a cakewalk, as this game is still notorious for stumping players, regardless of their puzzle-solving ability. What makes Myst's puzzles so excellent is how they are so seamlessly integrated into the world they exist in. Each lever, note, door, and mechanism is placed exactly where it needs to be, creating a feeling like these worlds have existed here for a long time. Beyond using some logic when it comes to some of the easier puzzles, the player needs to also use their ears to pick up on key sounds to make sense of many of the game's most demanding challenges. If you have a hard time remembering certain clues to help you solve a puzzle, it's often important to write down your findings in a journal or a piece of paper that you can refer to. You will be surprised to see some elements of this game repeat itself the further you get, making it wholly worthwhile to make notes of your discoveries. Some puzzles have a timer on it, with the consequence of being too slow meaning you simply just need to go a bit faster. There is no consequence of being stumped in Myst. No one is secretly hunting you down to kill you, nor can you die in this game. If any one puzzle is proving too challenging, just take a break and come back to it at a later date. Myst's legacy is long and full of achievements that absolutely needs to be celebrated for. This remake does an exceptional job at faithfully recreating one of the most beloved games in existence, tweaking the experience enough with its new visuals and control methods to make this return to Myst and its realms a must-do for any fan of the franchise and for puzzle and adventure game fans. This remake is very faithful to the original, and there is no extra content on offer here that wasn't present in 1993 other than the puzzle randomization. But there doesn't need to be anything else. Players can expect to finish the game within 6 to 60 hours, depending entirely on their observation skills and wit. So, Apple just rewarded Myst as their game of the year, huh? It isn't my game of the year because it is a remake of a game I have played since I was around 5 years old, but it certainly was one of the highlights I had last year when I played it. To those of you who haven't played it or are new to Myst, this gets my highest recommendation as an experience unlike any other out there. Perhaps this one will ignite inside you a passion to play unique games like this as it has done for me. Thank you for watching this video all the way to the end. Did you like my review of Myst? If so, please hit that big red button and like this video, as I release video game content multiple times a week, and I'd love to have you stick around. Until next time, FML!